Well, I've spent all my whole life as associated with the military. I mean, I was born into a military family, and my dad was a medical service corps officer, my mom an Army nurse. So, and I went straight from high school to West Point. And, so I've been around soldiers and really all services throughout my career. I've been a commander and a caregiver, so I've had that perspective. Another way to look at it is that I've had a chance to go with increasingly diverse and larger organizations to run, and so none as large as this, but the principles I think are the same, that you have good quality people and you trust them and you give them good guidance and you try to create an era of accountability. But I guess the other piece I would say is both of the organizations are mission focused. And that's what I like about it. I see that same sense of mission when I walk everywhere throughout the VA. We pay, it's about 70, I mean, arguably about 75% or so of what the cost of the tuition is. I mean, it's gone up. The current GI Bill was, the Montgomery Bill, and that was based in the peacetime Army. I think that is, frankly, maybe the sense of the people's concern about it is that we have soldiers sailors come back from shooting war, and that's not what we've had for a while. Now, I've seen all kinds of things. People it gives them clearly, our young men and women, clearly a good boost with which they can augment. A lot of the colleges and universities across the country, the state universities, are offering to our veterans assistance and so forth. So part of it is to get the balance right and see if there's something that we can do to really, because I believe in education. I mean, it's the right thing to do to assist them in that. I know lots of people that even the current GI Bill has made a huge difference in their life. And if you go to our Voc Rehab, the educational programs where we are helping those that are disabled, move on to a career, we pay a substantial portion of the tuition and so forth. Doesn't matter where you go. It's really a very good program. Well, what we are obligated to do is rightfully so, is to administer whatever the bills come. We have several GI bills now, to focus on the reservists. We execute that for DOD, and then of course the Montgomery GI Bill. And what we are certainly willing to do is work with the administration and work with Congress to understand where we ought to be going with being able to ensure that we have a reasonable bill to support our veterans. There's several pieces that I would tell you, the things that I think are my priorities. First is the issue of transition. And that's really, it's a bigger word than what a lot of people think, in my view, and that is, it's more than just the seriously wounded, moving them from a VA hospital seamlessly, or from a DOD hospital seamlessly into a VA hospital. I mean, we should be able to do that well, and we're well on the way to really doing a good job with that. We've had some issues with sharing information. A lot of that is going away. Even if it's flat files, we're sharing them. We will move eventually to computable data over time. But we've got a ways to go to get there. But we're moving information that is needed clinically to take care of our soldiers through that. The other piece of transition is the issue of outreach, and with the NDAA that allows us now to take care of soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marine that's come to us out of OIF, OEF, and give them health care for something that they feel is related to their service overseas within now up to 5 years after, without having to be adjudicated with the claims and so forth. I think that's a real step forward. That's part of transition too, and trying to work with the National Guard and the reserves, because where we can get their medical records and get their pertinent information from their military history, and get all of that collected so that we don't have to go around and spend 65% of our time collecting information to be able to adjudicate a claim. The BDD, Benefits Delivery and Discharge experience, tells us that that's the right way to go because we're doing those claims in 85 days. Going to the notion of where I think we need to be going and things to improve has to do in the claims process of getting more automated, trying to get into a paperless environment, improve our IT systems so that we have decision support, so that we have rules-based capability to support those that have to make those decisions. And I think also the Dole-Shalala Commission has given us a good roadmap forward, and we're already doing many of the things, but one of them that is obviously controversial is the restructuring of the disability system. And what we want to do is get all the smart people together that, and the variety of people that have looked at these issues. Everybody says they need to be changed. 1945 system, 1945 processes. And we've led a contract just recently to study the issues that really were in the Dole-Shalala about quality of life and transition payments and so forth, so that we will have information to allow us to work with all of the right interest groups, to include Congress and the BSOs as we move forward. But I think when it takes 2.5 years to train somebody to adjudicate a claim, it starts to suggest that the system is far too complex, is allowed to evolve itself to a complexity that mere mortals can't understand. Let me tell you, I've been talking about a trimodal distribution of our veterans. We're responsible for all of them. And when you look at the World War I, there's still one left. But World War II and Korea, where are they in their life now? I mean, they're looking at the twilight of their years. They need things like geriatric care, and sometimes hospice care, and sometimes long-term institutional or non-institutional, preferably, care. We have 32,000 people with home telehealth, as an example. We're going to expand that program because what that allows them to do is be at home in their communities with their families and be able to maintain their health. So those are really positive kinds of things that are really focused on that era, if you will. I'm a Vietnam generation guy, and so you start looking at where are me and my colleagues in our life. Well, we're approaching the end of our, in many cases, our work life, and so I mean, slowing down from the rat race, or something, if you want to look at it that way, or just realizing that it's a period of transition, if you will, but it's a transition not of the same nature as our young men and women. It's a transition into a more relaxed environment, and they may be finding that they look back on their Vietnam experience and realize that maybe there were some issues that needed to be dealt with, or they started to develop the age-related, weight-related, and those kinds of health issues that are now attributed back, like diabetes, as an example, back to Vietnam. So they have a benefit that they can come to us for.